think we might be live now. Let's take a look. I think we might be live. We are live. How's everyone doing? Welcome to the stream. This is the fourth, I think it's the fourth part of the video series that we're doing, where we are basically taking a whole Golang headless CMS and porting it to Rust. So we're going to be doing some Rust in this stream, and I hope you are also excited. I don't think there's many people watching me now, so I'm just going to quickly post this on Discord to try and get some other friends to join, of course. Otherwise, YouTube is not going to advertise this video for me tomorrow, which is always an issue. But, you know, thank you all for everyone who's watching this in the future, and we'll begin shortly. Yes. Now, let's get back to this. I have absolutely no idea what we were doing in the last stream, in the last Golang stream. I do know vaguely that we're trying to get some endpoints to actually retrieve the post data from the database using CORM, right? But yeah, I mean, this is the issue. I don't necessarily remember what I was doing, but we are going to find out. I think urgent arrest. Let's just see the last thing we pushed, because I have no idea. So we pushed something last time 3 weeks ago, which seems like a long time ago, doesn't it? So we added the full post handler matching original urchin. And I think this was just for the admin page, right? So let's take a look at it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this was just for the admin page. So we have an add post on the common database stuff here. And there you go. So urging admin app. This is where we added things. And we had a structure that would just take in a request, an add post request, which takes in a title, content, excerpt from the user in a JSON format, and he sends that to the database. That's all he does, right? And of course, we have an add response here. So yeah, I think I kind of know what to do now. So we're going to do the opposite of this, of course. So we're going to be getting the post from the user, right? So first of all, let me just see if I can actually build this. Does it still build? So cargo build. So there are a few things that we left out. Bad link on Discord, Matt. Oh, is it? My bad. Thank you very much, Getty. I will fix that right now. What I think I did is I actually posted the link on my analytics page, which obviously doesn't work. So I am going to change that right now. Thank you. Thank you very much, my guy. Thank you. All right. So this link should definitely work now. Ooh, sorry about that. There you go. I caused the chaos in the Discord. Sorry about that. I like how you and Sop are always policing the chat. So I might turn you guys into moderators, you know. I need some moderators, and you guys are online all the time, and I appreciate that very much. So, you know, if you fancy being a moderator on the chat, let me know. On the Discord, that is. There you go. Now we should have more people. There you go. So there's 4 people watch now. Sorry about that. I just completely posted the wrong link. Anyway, let's fix the Rust issues that we're not compiling. So cargo build. Going to get straight into it. So common libs line 71, common libs line 71. We don't return anything here. Async get post should return an OK. Get post result. Yeah, we can do that. Get post response, right? I've been doing too much C++ now, and like quite literally no Rust. So this is gonna be painful. Content, something like that. And then what else do we have? We have excerpt. Something like that. And these should all be strings, right? And we have post ID, which is 0, something like that. And then the title, something like that, right? Now, the problem is that these things are strings. And that's one of the annoying things in C++, I mean in Rust, is that you can't implicitly convert like C strings or the string literals to strings. You have to kind of do it manually. I'm partial to being a moderator. Have been one many times before. Still mod for a server that I don't much frequent. That's all I did. I mean, that was, you know, just a suggestion. Nothing set in stone. I think we don't quite need the moderator yet because we don't have that many people on both the YouTube channel and the Discord as well. So it's not crazy at the moment. I can still like tune in every day, but there are days that I'm completely AFK, and you know someone could potentially just like post a lot of inappropriate stuff, and then I wouldn't get it. But yeah, that's what I'm trying to avoid basically. So string from this. Let's just do a string from this. We're going to be filling in these things, obviously, from the database. That's what we're going to do. Terminal. Let's just compile this again. I will build. Now, things should compile. Nope. Could not compile. So this is in main.rs. In the admin one. Line 110. This is supposed to return a JSON of a get response. Okay, yeah, we can do that. Wait, what is this supposed to return? That's the function that we just did. Okay, so that should be the response from the database with the post stuff. So like the title, the content, and the excerpt, right? And then we're going to test this with Postman in a second so you guys can actually see what this is doing. I don't want to just do too much coding and then not actually any demo because otherwise you guys have no idea what I'm doing, right? So post, so we do an await that, and we do this. Does that work? No. We can match the post here. We can match the post and then see if it's an okay value. Okay, we do something. Otherwise, we'll do something as well here, right? That's what we're gonna do, but we don't know yet. Post result, and then we're gonna match the post to a post, match post result. Yeah, I'm not sure if you guys have ever seen Rust before, but one of the things that I really like about Rust is the pattern matching and yeah, just pattern matching in Rust. So you've got the match arm here, and you can basically deconstruct whatever like structure you have in Rust in a switch case statement as well. So you don't have like you can basically get information out of enums and save them, and it's just so much nicer. It's like so much more flexible. I asked something on the server, but you didn't seem to answer. Can I ask you here? Yeah, of course, man. Sorry about that. I was probably setting up the stream, and yeah, I did go AFK for a bit. And if there's something I can help, yeah, please post the link, and I'm happy to look at it. Right. So, the get response. Otherwise, we're going to bail this, I guess. Do we bail here? Oh, JSON of app error. Can we just do a return JSON or JSON of app error? Error message is going to be something. What is that? That is a string from something. And the status code. What's my status code here? What type is that? Huh. So this happens when we don't have something from the database, right? So this should be like an internal server error or something. And the string should be could not get post from database. Something like that, right? I guess. In fact, we're going to do a format here. And we're going to put the error in there. Okay, that should do. Now, what is going on here? Try wrapping an expression in error. Yes, we should probably try that. Okay, generate. Let me take a look now at the questions. Hello, Tom. Welcome to the stream, dude. Please drop a like. You know what it is. You already know it. I generate my third 3D models, but I also give the user option to export them into the .ply format. This export takes too long. The resolution of the model is big. When the resolution of the model is big. Yeah, that makes sense. It has time complexity over ON. Right. I don't know exactly how you're storing the faces. And I don't know what the PLY model is, but I guess it's similar to an object model, right? Let me just take a look at them. PLY file, 3D. So I guess this is a computer file format known as the polygon file format, or the standard triangle format. Does it just export triangle faces? Because if it does, then it's easy as hell. The file format, a PLY starts with the header attribute, which specifies the elements of a mesh and their types, followed by the list elements of followed by the list of elements itself. The elements are usually vertices and faces, but may include other entities such as edges, samples of range maps, and triangle strips. Okay, and let me just take a look at one format example. .ply 3D file example. So we have an example here. I just want to see what it looks like to see like what you're trying to do in the first place. So we've got PLY, we've got format ASCII, comment made by anonymous, whatever, property float. So this is where you define the vertex. Define vertex element 8 in file. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we've got 8 element vertexes. Is that right? And property float 32. Start with a face list. Is it reasonable to start to export the data preparation? Is it reasonable to start the export data preparation when I start showing the user model in my program so that they don't have to wait so long and decide if they want to decide to export? Yeah, you could do that. I mean, yeah, that sounds fine to me. It just looks to me that you'll be kind of converting a lot of the vertex data that's stored in the RAM of your computer into ASCII, right? And that is the problem. Now, my question is, like, do you already keep your vertex elements in like just a huge vector, for example, like a XYZ vector, or a vector of like a vec3 struct or something? Because what makes this really fast usually, dude, and this applies to anything in C++, anything in programming, is that you're applying the same operation to a contiguous array, a contiguous big array, shall we say. You know, doing sort of like the least number of operations as possible. I guess this means that in your particular case, you have like you know, some sort of structure that is storing the XYZ of each like triangle edge. Triangle edge? Yeah. No, vertex. It's triangle vertex. And then you have to go through each one of them, or each like 3 pairs, and then you are like converting them to some sort of like ASCII representation here. I would say, you know, make sure that you are doing that. Your data is not like fragmented, because fragmentation in the data, especially in the graphics data, is what's going to make this algorithm really like slow, right? Second thing, I mean, is it reasonable to start exporting data preparation? I don't know. I'm gonna say probably not, because like, what if the user doesn't want to export data? Then you're just doing like a bunch of calculations and making the CPU slow for no reason. But at the same time, you know, it doesn't really cause that much problem, if it makes sense. Like, as long as your vertexes aren't like coming up to like a few gigabytes in memory, because sometimes models can be quite huge. I'm sure you understand that. I remember when I was working with OpenGL, and I was doing this sort of like importer and exporter for FBX models and object files, which are like, you know, one of them is an open source kind of file format, and the other one is like an AutoCAD format for storing 3D data. Then, yeah, I mean, whenever I imported models that were like 2 or 3 gigabyte long, then yeah, it would literally be like doing things for 3 minutes. So if you start that pre-preparation before for the export data, One, you're going to be wasting a lot of time. Two, you're going to also, like if the user doesn't want to export, that's a waste of time. And two, you're going to have to keep that exported data format inside your RAM, right? Until you can save it to a file. So yeah, that's I keep the vertices in a stud set because I want to avoid duplicate vectors. The index into that constant iterator for a vector arrays is free, which are the triangles. Yeah, so that would be like a big problem, I would say. So like if you have a set storing the actual vector data or the vertex data, right? That's fragmented basically. It's not going to be contiguous. If you can somehow change your storage so all of your vertices are contiguous, then I guarantee you your algorithm for saving and exporting data is going to be a lot faster, right? Another option is like, can you add threads to this? So for example, you have like a massive vector, right? A massive a massive set of, triangles essentially. Can you do that export operation in different threads? So for example, you create like a subset of this in one thread and a subset of, this other data in another thread, because you're going to be splitting up all of your operations into multiple threads, and that may or may not speed up your whole algorithm. In fact, if the file is gigabytes long, it probably will, to be honest. It probably will benefit from threading. But yeah, the PLI file needs to have the triangle points as indexes, so I need to call std distance on the set. Okay, so std distance, yeah, like std distance might actually not be constant for you, which could also be a problem, man. So when you actually store that data into the set, is there a way for you to actually store the kind of like the offsets with it? Because if you store the offsets, you don't have to recalculate them every time, if it makes sense. You don't have to call distance all the time when you're storing it. That may be helpful for you. But yeah, like just to summarize this whole thing, in my opinion, if you had all of your data stored in a vector instead of a set, somehow, if you can manage that, it would speed up things massively. Failing that, try work with threading. Threading might help you quite a bit as well. So like if you operate on like a subset of your set in each thread and generate this export data for that, and then merge all of the export data in the end, that will also help you, especially if the file is gigabytes long. So buffer vector is constant for std set. Yeah, I'm a bit confused. Sorry, dude. I don't really know like to be honest, unless I look at the code, man, I can't really give you any meaningful things. Using std transform with std execution, AR unused. Yeah, so I see. So you're already using the execution policy, which might mean that it's already multi-threaded. Oh, I see. Parent sequence. Have you benchmarked this as well, dude? So like if you run your algorithm with an execution policy that will automatically supposedly turn things into multi-thread, and then you change that to just be the normal transform without the policy, does it improve anything? I'm just wondering if you've actually got like multi-threading enabled once you do the policy. But that'll be my guess, my man. My guess is that you're keeping all the vertices in the set and having like a double indirection to a vector is what's causing this very slow, because you're not utilizing the cache of the CPU very well. It works fine, but with resolution, I'm looking. It works fine with the resolution I'm looking for, but I'm a bit of a perfectionist. Yeah, I mean, don't worry too much. I mean, as long as this is for a school project, right? So as long as it works for whatever data you're using for that, you'll be fine, man. But in terms of like the actual optimization, you're gonna have to rethink about your data stores, I think, because that's essentially what's causing the slowness. So it's like you're not really utilizing L0 cache and L1 cache if you're not using the vector, which is the main point here. Like if you're not using the cache very well, your algorithm is not going to be fast, and that's just how it is. I can export smaller models in less than a second. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's fine, right? So it's not bother. I understand it's just when you bring in like kind of really, really huge models, right? Which, you know, is a problem that I had as well when working with graphics and 3D models. So I do understand that. Right, so what is the issue here? Mismatched delimiter. Okay, just remove one of them. Oh, wait, yeah. I see what's going on. So I missed the bracket there. And now we're good. Now we're good, right? And if we do a let there you go. Okay. Now, in theory, this should work. But no, it doesn't. Common post, get post response, and get post response have similar names, but are actually distinct types. What? Are they? So this is supposed to be post ID, string. Okay. But why is this other post? What? I have the same struct defined in 2 different places. That is interesting. And this one is what? Ah, I see. I just forgot to remove one of them. I think I just realized what I have to do, but we'll keep you updated. Yeah, let me know. Let me know how it goes, dude. If you manage it to get very fast, then yeah, let me know. Right. So I'm just going to use the compiler here to tell me what's wrong because I've lost the train of thought now. I don't know where I am. The trait bound by this to get post handler. Can find get post response in the scope. Yeah, we can bring it in, right? Right. So where is this? This is in posts, which is in common. So we can just, hopefully we just have to bring that in at the top here. Right, so common. I think I actually forgot to use it. Where is it? Pub use post, there you go. Use post, get post, public use, yeah. There you go. That should work now. Out of interest, how many of you guys have done some Rust before? Is anyone willing to try nowadays? I feel like, you know, the Rust community is kind of dying out. Not dying out because they're still very, very active. But I mean, like the hype, the hype for Rust is kind of dying out on YouTube. People are making less and less Rust content. But yeah. Right, so what is the problem here though? Wait, what? No Rust for me, time for Java. Yeah, I mean, I also had to learn Java at university. Which is a bit odd because even at my time, man, even in 2014 to 2018, not many companies were using Java. You know, even at that time, and they still were very, very hard on Java. But it surprises me that people don't want to teach other things now. Because, you know, Java's everywhere. Yeah, Java's everywhere. So result required by this bound in check. Note, what the hell is going on? The trait bound get post response search serialize is not satisfied. Yeah, that's fine. That's because we have to probably bring it in here, right? So we need to derive. All right, let's try that again. Okay, that looks a little bit better. Little bit better. But it doesn't. It still doesn't implement the whole thing, right? Because I mean, I can hit that endpoint for sure. I can surely hit it. Let's try that right now, actually. So if we do a debug in here, Rust Analyzer, and we do the admin app. In this case, we're running that, which will hopefully build the whole thing and then run it. There you go. Okay, never mind. Something does fail. What is it? Rust, panicking. What? Mainline 31. So try main. Okay, so what is the actual error though? Paths must start with a dot. Okay, yeah. So this is probably because I missed. There you go. I'm really getting sick of Axum. So Axum is this kind of framework that I'm using for I guess it's a web framework, right? It's a web server framework. And it handles all of the incoming connections and all the HTTP requests. But I'm getting really sick of it because it's just really, really huge. It was supposed to be sort of like the most lightweight out of like, not Tokyo, but what's the other one? Rocket, Axum, and then there's another one. I forgot what it's called. But it's just really, really, really huge now. And it's very difficult to do any debugging in it, to be honest, because the documentation is just so big that you just have to have a PhD in it to understand what you're doing. So Arconaf, Chad Matt, looking sharp as always. Thank you, dude. And you're looking, I'm sure you're looking as beautiful as always. Is Rust much faster than Go for REST APIs? I tested Bun versus Go, and there's a huge difference. Hello, Tom. I don't know, dude. I've not actually like benchmarked Go versus Rust, if I'm honest. But because Rust doesn't have a garbage collector, my first guess is that it would be faster depending on the framework that you choose. Like this one is supposed to be a lightweight one, but there are even more lightweight frameworks now than Axum. But what I like about this is that it has insane async out of the box. Like it pairs really well with some of the async libraries in Rust. So you can handle like thousands and thousands of connections in at once, basically, which is pretty good. Now I've not compared it to Golang though. I will say I've not compared it to Golang at all. But my guess is that yes, it will be faster if you do it right, just because you don't have the garbage collection. So I'm interested now, Tom. Was Bun actually like a lot slower than Go? My guess is that it was slower, right? When you say there was a huge difference, I'm gonna say Go was a bit faster than Bun. Is that correct? Yo guys, what's up, you guys? How are you guys doing? Hello, Muslight. Welcome, dude. Welcome to the stream. I hope you've been doing well. Yeah, like 8 times or something. Fuck, that is huge. Yeah, that is huge. So one of the things I did do like quite recently was I benchmarked. I think it was Rocket. Rocket is a very, very popular like Rust like web framework as well, and a C++ equivalent, which was at the time it was O++, I think it was. And I was surprised when C++ was actually a bit faster, just because I thought Rust would do things a bit faster out of the box and quicker as well. But yeah, I mean, the truth is it depends on what you pick, right, man? So like if you pick the right framework from one language and you pick the wrong framework from another language, then obviously things will be skewed. But if you pick like the most optimal solutions for both languages, then you have a better fight there, a fairer fight, shall we say. And that's one of the things, this is one of the things that I see a lot in content online. I'm not gonna lie, it does annoy me. It does annoy me so much. So there'll be like a very popular YouTube doing, let's test out this C++ library versus this Rust library versus this Go library. And then they will pick like the best option they have for their favorite language, which will be sometimes, most of the times that'll be Rust, if we're honest, when they're doing that comparison. And then they'll pick like, very, very bad shit alternatives for the other languages. And then the conclusion at the end will be that, lo and behold, their favorite language wins. And I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair at all. So like, I feel like people definitely do skew, people's views on YouTube when they release that kind of content. Been using C# with its garbage collector for making games for a long time now. Once you start pooling objects, garbage collection becomes obsolete. You just need more RAM, which is usually what you have in abundance. Yeah, that's true. Thereby, speed becomes fairly comparable, though you alter your workflow for it. Yeah. I guess that's why, yeah, that's a good point, Arkonaf. I guess that's what ECSs do, right? Because you have a pool of objects all in one place. So because they're all in one place and all the references to those objects are fairly easy to trace, garbage collection becomes a lot faster, I would say, right? But I don't know. But yeah, no, I 100% agree with that point, though. Damn, I just realized I either have to define on a vector or distance on a set. Dude, there must be an easy way to do, man. There must be an easy way for you to do this. I swear. Let's debug this again. Waiting at me now. Well, let's see if we can hit those endpoints with okay, so we are running, right? Debug console, yeah, we're running. Created by me. If we did the get post, let's just send something. What was the endpoint again? Posts and ID. Posts and then the ID. So get posts, and then ID. Now the problem is which. Oh, I'm on port 3000. What the hell? That's why. That's why it didn't work. Yeah. 3000 here. Send that. Let's see what we get. We get a post 0. What if it's one that doesn't exist? It's the same thing, and it's all the same thing no matter what we do because we haven't actually implemented it. So we need to implement the ORM code to get the right post stuff now, right? So we've got the endpoint being hit at the very least. We just got to make sure that there's some logic. Comparisons are based on X amount of specs though. Like Node is single threaded, so throw one instance against a multi threaded language is not got a chance. Yeah, that's true. Build a cluster then is comparable. Yeah. You're gonna grab some food. Loving the lives. Cheers, dude. Cheers. Yeah. So Tom is a very nice kind of IRL friend. There's also a very, very capable developer. He knows quite a lot, especially when it comes to backend and cloud stuff. He's the person I ask questions to, basically. ECS both pulls and pulls in a way that predictive branching algorithm of the modern CPU grasps immediately. Objects in pools are basically next to each other in RAM. Yeah, they are. And CPUs quickly learn it. Yeah, that's true, yeah. That is the strength of an ECS. That's what I was telling. Is it get to? Get to, that's what I'm telling, dude. Like you just need to put everything in a vector because once you have that, you're gonna start utilizing cache very well. Let me remove this stuff here. You're gonna start utilizing the cache very well. Your branches are gonna be predicted a lot faster. And your algorithm in the end is going to be a lot faster as well. So it may be worth switching whatever data store you have to a vector, even if that makes things slower at this, creating the actual structure. Because once you're working with that structure, once you're actually going through each element in the vector, things will just be a lot faster. Trust me. Trust me on this one. I learned it the hard way, dude. I learned it the hard way. So it's the same thing for graphics data. Like it's the same things for graphics data at all. So, right. Yeah, I guess you guys figured out that I hit the freaking heart, but you can still see it there. I know, but inserting unique only into a vector is really slow. It is slow, but in the end, what is the trade-off that you're getting? Oh, what even better, right? You can insert all of your stuff into a set, but then once you've got all of the elements inserted, why don't you convert that to a vector and have the internal storage as a vector of your triangles? Because I think that might help you. The user can wait. The user can wait for exporting, but they can't for generation. Yeah, that's a good point. I'll take that. But how much did they wait for generation though? If you change it to a vector, is it a matter of like 10% more? Do benchmark these things. Do benchmark things. That's what I say. Right, so I need to... Oh my god. There is a database function that we're going to actually implement now, which is the get post here. I don't really like this. This needs to change, right? So this needs to change so we can use the operator. And the error returned from database, database dot get post, right? So we basically need to like somewhat convert error to an internal set. What the hell was this? Oh, an app error. That's the one. Now I think we can probably do that right now, to be honest. If we do just the get result response and we also return an app error there, things would work. I know the user can wait, sure, but then you still have to find the new iterators in the vector when you move it from the set, and that still takes time. Or am I missing some magic function that can do that? I don't know, dude. As I said, without looking at the code, I can't really offer you like some really good insight into the improvements that you you can make in your program. But I'm gonna trust that you've got the most kind of efficient algorithm, so run with that. Just get it done, and then that's one of the things that people don't realize as well. Like, you're obviously doing an assignment for university, right? And you want it to work. You want it to kind of finish it. There's no reason for you to start thinking about optimizations right now, man. Just get it done. At least complete your assignment, and then once you've done that, you can start, optimizing. Premature optimization isn't good for anyone. Let's just put it that way. Really hope you're old enough to pick up the joke. Right, so here, this is where we do the ORM stuff, right? So we've got the connection here, the database, and then we've got the active model. So this is, I'm actually going to read on the CORM to make sure, because we've got one for posting data. So CORM retrieve data or select. So this, for those who have just tuned in, welcome to the stream, by the way, and don't forget to like the video. That helps me out quite a lot. We are using a library called CORM, which is a ORM for Rust. So you can kind of talk to your SQL database or whatever else. Actually, doesn't just support SQL. I'm probably gonna just leave it as is. It's not worth the trouble. That's exactly what I mean, my man. Like, just leave it for now. I'm sure you can come back to this problem later on. But is it worth like rethinking the whole architecture of your program so you can get the export part of your program a little bit faster? I would say no. Just finish it, dude. Just finish it and then optimize it later. Remember, premature optimization isn't good for anyone. In fact, your programs tend to be 10 times uglier when you start optimizing prematurely than if you just did it at the end. Trust me, I've seen it in real life multiple times. Especially when you work with like very, very smart people, like scientists and stuff. They tend to optimize code at the start, and then it just makes things unreadable and extremely difficult to modify. So yeah. So find by primary key, that's what I want. Find a model by its primary key. It can be single key or comprised of a key. We start calling find by ID. Okay. So we find by ID 1, right? So we have option of a cake model. I don't know what that is. So we've got an option, a Rust option of a cake model. Cake model. What is cake in this case? Cake entity. Cake model. Okay. So I guess once we have these active value things, this active model here, can we start finding it by the ID? Is that correct? So if I just copy this, can I use the same ORM active model to actually select the data? The cake is supposed to be a lie. Yeah, the cake is a lie. I do remember that part of the internet back in the day. So we have post active model CRM not set. See, this doesn't work for us because we are not setting anything, are we? So we don't have an active model. So we have posts.model. Simple as that. So posts.model. There you go. So then what do we do? And then we find post. Entity.find. Ah, here we go. There you go. This is so much easier to use than just like handwritten SQL code. I'm starting to enjoy ORMs, if I'm honest with you guys. It just makes life a lot easier when working with databases. So I would 100% recommend them by now. Now, find by ID. What is the ID? This should be hopefully a post ID here, right? So we do this. Ooh, post model. Oh, the syntax error there. So select entity. Why did my post ID not stay there? Okay. Now 1.db. So what do we need here? The database connection itself. Okay. We pass in then that self.db connection. Is that correct? .await. Can I format the document? Yeah, there you go. Formatted automatically. I can't return that for now because it should be an app error. But I can do something like into, I guess. Map error. There you go. I don't know what error that returns. A db. E.what? SQL into string to string. Yeah, we can do that. So what we can do here is like we can return it to an app error. And what does that have? Error message is going to be e.toString in this case. Okay, so we turn that into a string, and then the error here itself, though, we're going to have to change the status code. We're going to have to get a proper status code. Yeah, so in this case, we didn't find it by the ID, right? Could not find it by the ID. So the user returned the wrong thing, for sure, which is a bad request, I guess. Yeah, we're going to put it as a bad request, for sure. Now, that makes more sense. And we're going to do the same in here. So we return that. Well, no, we're not. I think now that we have the ID here, so find by composite primary IDs. It looks, it looks to me that it's very easy to find anything from a model. So from a database with a model, even composite keys are fairly easy to find, which is interesting. Okay. Now, in theory, this post, once we get to here, this should have all the information into it, right? So how do we actually get the information? So cake model. So entity, find by ID. That returns a model. It's a map transpose. How do I actually get like the actual data inside it? I guess we're going to find out. So the model, oh, it's an option. Okay, yeah, I see. So we map the error and then we map. Oh, we do a context, I guess, right? So dot context. No, wait, let's see. So this is going to be a result of an option. Now map error is going to give me this. Fine. So that's a post option. And then we can do a context. Fine. That sounds a little bit better. Wrap the error value with. Yeah, so this we'll get the option of a model here, but I want to say we unwrap or return. Yeah, let's see. Or we return an error. We can do that in Rust quite easily. It's like we have an optional value in Rust. We're just going to turn that into an error if it doesn't exist, actually. So actually, this error here. Yeah, I don't know what to do, because when this error occurs, that means the database, we didn't find the thing on the database. Or does it? I don't know. Because I assume that if we don't find anything on the database, then this optional is going to be null. But then it also returns an error on top of that. So yeah, I'm also having a bit of trouble with stutter transform. The process only gobbles up 20% of the CPU instead of more. Is that because I have std set in there? I just can't seem to escape thinking. So stutter process, you know, if you don't put any execution policies in there, so if you don't tell C++ to do it in parallel, then it's going to be in one thread. Now, if you are using multiple threads, I would assume, that it's using more than 20% of the CPU. So it seems to me that you're not really running in multiple threads there, which, brings me to my point. Can you just use std threads instead? See if that, improves anything. Parallel execution policy. I have the parallel execution policy. Yeah, but do you also need to enable anything in the compiler to make that work? I do wonder if you have to actually do a enable any flags or anything. So I do remember looking at or seeing a video by Jason Turner, which is like a guy on YouTube that is a really good C++ teacher, and he was going over policy executions at some point, and there was a particular flag that he enabled in GCC that allowed this whole thing to be running on the GPU, like in parallel. So, but it just says that it's supported out of the box in GCC 10 and Clang 11, so it might be okay actually. Yeah, no, they don't have any extra flags here, so I don't assume we have to. Oh, I saw that video. Yeah, you saw that video, yeah. It was, it wasn't released that long ago, so I do remember seeing it. I always keep into, well, I always try to keep up to date with Jason's videos because they are really, really good. But that's for, those guys who are interested in learning C++ here on the stream. There's a guy called Jason Turner on YouTube. Go and watch him because he's really, really good. The OKOR, right? Yeah. OKOR else. Right, this is OKOR. That's what I'm looking for. OKOR. So transforms the error. No, OKOR. No, we want to go the other way around. Right? What does that do? Ah, yeah, it returns that. Okay. Okay, I see. App error. Error message. I don't know. Or I guess we're gonna do something like dot into here. And then status code, something like status code. Internal server error. Right. Why can't I use this? Can't convert the error to app error. What? Like, why not? Does that work? Yeah, nope, it doesn't. Right, maybe I just don't know how to use anyhow. Anyhow is the like error library that's like wrapping around everything here. So every time you see something like OKOR, I'm saying, whenever I have a no option here in the optional, so whenever I don't have a value, I'm going to convert it to an error. Now this error should be the same type as my error type in here. So I don't know exactly why we're not returning this. So let's see. So it should be e is equals to error. It's just anyhow error. That's why. Anyhow error. Now this still doesn't work. You might meant to have an associated build. Right? So what is that? Convert struct to anyhow error Rust. Yeah, how do I do like a custom anyhow error? That's what I'm trying to find here. So we got a main that returns something. That's not what I wanted though. Okay. So anyhow, results from struct. I am also thinking, can I just, instead of doing anyhow error in this case, can I just do an anyhow? Oh. Anyhow, change error type. That's what I'm trying to do here. The error type, a wrapper around the dynamic error type. Error works a lot like box of dynamic of std error, but with these differences. Error requires that the error is send and sync and static. It has to be async, basically. Guarantees that a backtrace is available even if the underlying error type does not provide one. Okay. This doesn't mean much to me, to be honest, but so we have result and then the error. The error is going to be that. So why in hell can I not do this? Why can I just not do that? So couldn't convert the error to app error. So what do we have here? So the return of impl function. Ah, it's because of the traits, isn't it? The question mark operation implicitly performs a conversion on the error value using the from required for this to implement. So required for get response to implement from residual of that. No, I still don't get it. Hello Al. How's it going, dude? It's good seeing you, man. It's been a long time. It's been a long time indeed. I hope you had a nice weekend, dude. We're back on Rust. You need to implement the from trade from your app error. Yeah, I was just thinking about that. Is the trait that we don't have. So which from do I have to actually from residual? Yeet. I like that. Yeah, let me look at the tutorials again. So obviously I have to implement it from the import trait. Is it going to be in here? I'm looking for the particular traits that I have to implement now because I have no idea. Anyhow, change error type. Anyhow, error in anyhow Rust. Oh, does trait even get mentioned in here? For attaching context to a result as it's propagated, the context extension trait may be more convenient for this function. Okay. So what's this example? So parse error is there. Function parse impl, which returns a result of t and parse whatever. Pub function parse as ref of results. Hello shop, it's good to see you here. Yeah, dude, is it really not gonna tell me which error can convert the question? Mark operator implicitly performs a conversion on the error value using the from trait. But that doesn't that mean that my anyhow error would have to implement a from on the app error? Because yeah, I'm officially a high schooler. Well done, dude. Did you pass your school year, sorry? High schooler. Dude, how old are you? You are very young then. Jesus. High school here in the UK is like you start as a 12-year-old or something. Is that correct? Yeah, I think it is. 12 to 14, yeah. So you're probably not meant to be on this stream, my man. You're probably supposed to be playing with your boys outside. That's a joke, by the way. You can watch my stream. It's family friendly, I guarantee you. So what am I doing? The following are the traits, or the types implement trait from residual. What? I'm gonna have to chat GPT this because this is really annoying. What are you trying to accomplish with your map error and OK chain? Right, what I'm trying to do. So, the map error needs to map between the database error here, which we get from the function find by ID after you await it, into an app error, right? I'm converting all of the errors here into an app error because I'm returning an app error from this function. And why do I need to do that? Because when I use it, when I use it in my main function, I want to be able to use just a simple question mark here, right? But that only works when I return an app error of this type, of the same type in here. So getting the app error returned, as opposed to the JSON here, I know that the JSON is a wrapper around that, would be a good start. So yeah. But that's the problem. Like, which trait does my app error need to implement in order to be able to be used by anyhow error? Because I have no idea. But I don't get the OK or part. The OK or part is because the returning function here actually returns an optional of a model, right? And what I'm doing is, if this option is null, that means we haven't found the elements in the database. That should again be another app error. And this would be something like, not found in database or something. Which would be a bad request because the user passed a bad ID. So when you pass a bad ID or an ID that doesn't have a post in the database, this is the error that you return, right? So there are two different errors masked in here. So one of them is the error returned by find by ID, where it does have an error itself after the await. You can see here the type. And then the other error is when we don't find the thing, which means that the option here in the middle is null, right? So it's when you have like none. If you start now option, yeah, the question mark does not exist in option. It doesn't exist in option. So this is, doesn't that turn it into a result? This takes an option and returns it to a result, and turns it into a result, I think, right? Or am I? Yeah, there you go. So this will take an option object and then give you a result for it. So this does the opposite. So OK or will turn the option into a result. There is an equivalent as well, though, for result into option. I can't remember what it's called now. But yeah, don't drink either. How much you suppress yourself is part of you. Yeah, that is true. Don't drink. It's not good for you. I've stopped drinking quite a while ago now. I don't drink as much anyway. I always get a headache and really bad sleep when I drink. So, I hope you understood the whole logic. It is a little bit of a long chain here, but there is a reason for it. The only missing part of the chain is actually being able to return an app error. Because, yeah, we need water, guys. Yeah, we do. Look at me. I've got some water here. So this is the only missing link here on the chain. It's actually being able to identify which freaking traits I need for my app error. Because right now I'm a bit confused. Does ChatGPT help us out in this? Let's see. Because I have no idea. Oh, I need to use my actual window here because I need to sign into ChatGPT, don't I? I once drank approximately 6 liters of water within 2 hours and almost died. Yeah, dude. What are you thinking? Take a look at the OKO function. So here we are. So it takes an option. It's not an app error that you get from it, but rather a stud error. I see, yeah. Yeah, I see. I see what you mean, yeah. So really, what I'm trying to do, that is the reason, yeah. What I really want to do is context then. Right, so app error. Does that work? So context. The app error doesn't implement std display. Okay, well, why does it need to be? Yeah, so context will give me the error type, right? Result of the error. That's better. That's better. You have to map the error again. That's the problem. Yeah. I got that, Al. Cheers. That did certainly help it out though. So context actually does that. So I just by chance, after looking at your message, I remember that we have a dot context, which will do exactly that. It wraps the optional in an error with this given thing. Now the only problem here is that we don't have this display here, and that has to we can surely derive it. So I guess we can do a derive display for sure. Is derive display what I need here? FNT display. Is that going to work? Wait, what? Which one do I need again? std_fmt is not implemented by this. Ah, this is something else. What the hell am I doing? This is actually the error type, isn't it? This is actually this. Is it because of the string here? So app error doesn't implement. Oh no, it isn't. FMT display. The trait FMT display is not implemented by app error. But the question is, why does it need to implement that? Does it say here? So the context C. Where's my? Oh yeah, display send and sync. All right. So I have to implement all of these things on the app error, which is interesting. I soundtrack while I'm coding. Yeah, thank you for listening to me. Eagle-eyed viewers on the watch. You have to implement display. You cannot derive it. Yeah, I will try to implement that with a trait then. Get to unfortunately his character and bravado is impossible to resist paying attention to. Thank you, dude. Appreciate all the support, my man. I mean, I guess Al and Ahmed and Getu, I guess you guys are always here, so I do appreciate the viewership for sure, man. Just don't forget to like the video. Right, so we are going to definitely implement display. So impl display for app error. Does it automatically fit in here? Can we automatically? So what? No, this is FMT. There you go. So FMT formatter. Okay. I have no idea what FMT formatter is for the F here. Well, we're going to take a look at that. Wrong display, need FMT display. Oh yeah, thank you. I realized that, thankfully. Get to you have to teach us master. I have no idea what you guys are talking about, but implement display Rust. And we're also going to implement sync and send, I think, because it has to be sync and send. So we have the formatter here. So right, F. Okay, so it's just the right call here, right? I guess. Something like that would work. Error. And then code. This, and then we have self error message, or message and self.status code. Okay, that's one of them. Now we need to implement sync and send. Is this something I can for sure just unsafe impulse send for sync? No. Now I kind of know async relies on you having to implement these two things, sync and send. Send, I believe it means that you can send it safely to a different thread. I can't remember what sync does, if I'm honest. So that's what we're going to find out here. So, in fact, can we look at send in Rust? Send trait. Sentencing. There you go. Not everything obeys inherited mutability, though. Some types allows you to have multiple aliases of a location in memory while mutating it. Unless these types use synchronization to manage this access, they are absolutely not thread safe. Rust captures this through the send ace and sync traits. A type is send if it's safe to send to another thread, as we said. A type is sync if it's safe to share between threads. T is sync if and only if the reference is send. Okay, yeah, that kind of makes sense. So that means, it's safe for you to share that model between threads, or that memory piece in between threads. Send and sync are fundamental to Rust concurrency story. As such, a substantial amount of special tooling exists to make them work right. First and foremost, they're unsafe traits. This means that they're unsafe to implement, and other unsafe code can assume that they are correctly implemented. Since they're market traits, they have no associated items like methods. Okay, so I can just mark it as async. But the thing is this async? As long as you don't change this, right? As long as it's not a mutable reference, we should be okay. So does that work? If I just do this, right? I mean, I'm not sure if it, if this actually makes sense. Thing is, it should be okay as long as we don't change the references, right? But now, what is the issue here? Couldn't convert the app error. The question mark. Ugh. What does that return me? So it's a result and error. God's sake. We're going to have to map the error. Yeah, I think you were right the whole time. We're going to have to map error again. Map or. Returns the provided result if none. Returns the provided default result if none. Or applies a function. No, that's not what we want. Context. And we have the string here. What is that going to give me? An error. Right, now we do a map error. Can I do that now? Finally, yeah. Finally that works. But I'm still not sure, though, if this makes sense. If my app error actually makes sense to be send and sync. I guess we're going to continue reading this and see if it makes sense, right? So... send and sync are automatically derived traits. This means that, unlike every other trait... Wait, what? Send and sync are automatically derived traits. This means that, unlike every other trait, if a type is composed entirely of send and sync types, then it's send and sync. Okay, so we don't have that, of course, because we have a string and a status code, which are not send and sync from the looks of it. This means that, unlike other type traits, okay, blah, blah, blah. Major exceptions are raw pointers are neither send or sync because they have no safety guards, and safe cell. And reference counted isn't send or sync because the ref count is shared and unsynchronized. Right. Reference count and unsafe cell are very fundamental, not thread safe. They enable unsynchronized shared mutable state. However, raw pointers are, strictly speaking, marked as thread unsafe as more of a lint. Doing anything useful with a raw pointers requires dereferencing it, which is already unsafe. In that sense, one could argue that it would be fine for them to be marked as thread safe. No, it would not. However, it's important that they aren't thread safe to prevent types that contain them from being automatically marked as thread safe. These types have non-trivial untracked ownerships, and it's unlikely that their author was necessarily thinking hard about their thread safety. In the case of RC, we have a nice example of a type that contains a mute that is definitely not thread safe. Unsafe simple, okay. Types that aren't automatically derived can simply implement these if desired. That's what we did. An incredibly rare case that a type isn't appropriately automatically derived to be send or sync, then one can also unimplement these features. Okay, cool. So not send and not sync. That is cool. I didn't know that you can unimplement in Rust. Know that in and of itself is impossible to incorrectly derive send and sync. Know that in and of itself it is impossible to incorrectly derive send or sync. Only types that are ascribed special meaning by other unsafe code can possibly cause trouble by being incorrectly send or sync. So is it guaranteeing that we can actually do this? Because I'm not too sure now. Okay, yeah. I think from the looks of it, it's impossible to incorrectly derive send or sync. Does it mean derive or implement, Trent? Is it impossible to implement send and sync? So if you do this, and if you can't do an implementation of send and sync, will the compiler tell you? So this is okay. This is what it's saying. Because I'm confused now, but we're gonna leave that as it is. And we're gonna see. This whole thing sounds like a means to discourage people from switching to Rust. Yeah, I mean, once you go over to async and Rust, things get a little bit more difficult, and this is the bread and butter of async and Rust. You got to understand what these things means. And unfortunately for me, I forget it every time I look at it. So yeah. But yeah, it's very difficult to kind of understand what they mean though. Essentially, it just signifies that, you know, if you have a type that implement these two traits, these two functionalities, then this should be safe to be kind of transferred between threads and shared between threads as well. That's what they mean here. And if you do this, this type is automatically kind of async safe, right? Now the problem is the documentation kind of says that it's impossible for you to derive send and sync incorrectly. Do they mean like it's impossible for me to mark something as send and sync if it's not? Because if it is, I'm fairly confident that this should work because the compiler isn't saying anything to me here. But if that's not what it means, then I may be screwed because I may be doing something that's completely, you know, unsafe here. But I guess we'll find out. But anyway, that's all I wanted to do. Now we have the model. We should be able to do post dot. There you go. So we've got those things in here. Well, we've got post dot content, and we've got post dot excerpt here. Post dot ID. All of that just so we can get like basically 5 more lines out of code. So we basically wrote like 20 lines of code to be able to continue with 5 lines in our function. And that, my friends, is Rust for you. Post.title. Right. Okay, good. So point is, now if I do a debug, I should be able to actually get the posts from my database, right? That's what this is the whole thing here. This is the whole thing. So we've got the thing running. We've got the debugger running here. If we do a get post now, do we actually... No. Oh yeah, it's because it's the wrong port again. And there you go. So it does work now. And if I do something that doesn't exist, like post 10, there you go. We do return. Could not get post from database. Error. Could not find in database. 400 bad request, right? And then, wait, what? Now this is confusing. So we do a 400 bad request, and then we do a 500, which is wrong. Error, could not find in database code. So this is displaying my app error inside of the error message. So I'm kind of confused now. Kind of very confused. Hello, Anton. How is it going, dude? Good to see you. Yeah, so what is going on here? So this should not have happened. Like it's wrapping my app error in an app error. Ah, okay, yeah, it's because I've got this here. Cool. Now the next step is to return. Yeah, it's to return a JSON of the app error. And yeah, this, so we've basically done this here. So the goal here was to basically be able to use the question mark operator to like unwrap the error quite nicely into straight away into a JSON, right? So we're gonna try that. So if we had post there, now we can't do this yet because this is actually returning a JSON of app error. Which is fine, I guess. But then I can't return it as a JSON here. Right? This is not going to work, is it? Oh, no, yeah, this will work. But is my app error implementing what I need to do? So, for example, for you to be able to have a nice kind of custom app or a custom error returned from Axiom, you have to implement into error, I think, into response. There you go. And the response is what? A HTTP response, right? And yeah, I mean, this is basically it as far as I know. Okay, that little success motivated my. I'm going back to my coding. We'll stay here. Thank you, dude. Yeah, yeah. Do go back to your coding and come back every now and then, man. We love talking to you. So if you want to turn something into an app error, you can do it like this, where you have this import function here, but you should also return a tuple of 3 items. The first one is the status code, and the other one is the formatting, right? Into a response. But I want to also return a JSON content header here. Because if I do this now, right, so if I actually just build it or debug it, we won't have it as a JSON anymore, and that is a problem. I don't want it as not a JSON. I want it as a JSON content type, for sure. So we've got that, and then if we do this, there you go, something went wrong. And if you actually look at the headers, it's no longer content type JSON, right? So we are going to look for that now because I'm not entirely sure how to do this, but I know that there is a way to do it because I've done it at work before, like a year ago, and I just forgot about it. So Axiom into response JSON. That's what we want to do. So into response for JSON, into response for that. No. Okay, so are we not going to be able to do this? So into response content type. That's essentially what it goes down to. Axiom response not working with custom struct. Ooh. So response builder. Okay, yeah, we can use the response builder, I guess, immediately. That looks good to me. I will certainly use that. So can we do this? Ah, okay, so we change it to a JSON with status okay. Found response, we expected function found response of app error. So response builder, mismatch. Expected struct response of body, found enum response of that. We can just unwrap, I guess, here. Will that work? What type is this? Let test equals this. What is my type here? This is a result of response of app error, right? If I do that, does it work? Into response for this, returns a response. Does this have a generic type in here? Good night. I mean, time to go sleep because of school. Yeah. Thank you for joining, Soppy. And yeah, dude, have a good school day tomorrow. Don't forget to get an A max. I'm sure you can. Yeah, so why is into response not working? Into response or response, builder, body, self. Oh, this is what it says here. Exactly what we want. If you don't specify a type in the generic, it uses the default. There is one. Okay, so wait, what is this? So what do I have to do? Weather display. Oh, okay, so app error response of. Does that work? Method into response has an incompatible type for struct. Expected signature function. And just follow the docs. Okay, let's just follow the docs, I guess. So into response, response body. So how are they doing this? So my error. I think this is where we copied it from anyway. So this is where we got the response wrapping from in the first place. Into response. See, they don't have a generic here. So what is going on? Into response of JSON, maybe? Is JSON here? JSON data error, JSON syntax error. JSON rejection. Rejection used for JSON contains one variant for each of the rejection traits. JSON data error. Okay, no, this is not what I want. Your return type response is incompatible with the use of response builder. Usually response takes a generic type T, like response T. When you simply, yeah, okay, I see. So I need to do this too, is that correct? Yeah, this is where we get stuck with syntax, which is interesting. It's always the best part of the stream, isn't it? So your function is expected to return response body, but your use of the response builder builds a responsive weather display. Does it? What was the use of the builder? Response builder, this unwrap. Yeah, I don't see why they deduct weather a responsive weather display in here. Oh. Build a body and see what the case is. Now, the definition into response forces your method to return a response. So the only thing you can do is find a way to convert your custom type into a body. Ooh, a body struct. Yeah, okay. I guess we can do that. What is it? So this is a builder, this is a builder, this is a builder. Body self. This obviously doesn't work here. What is a body object? What does that entail? What can we do here? We can JSONify this, I guess, right? Yeah, I guess we can JSONify this. Yeah, why not? Hello Slim, how's it going, dude? Hope you're well. Yeah, I'm doing very good, man. Hope you too, sir, are doing well. We are struggling here with Rust syntax once again in the stream, as usual. Now, if I do self here, this will definitely create a response of app error. But what we need to do is a body here, right? And So we basically just want to do something like that. But this is not the right type because this is a responsive body string, right? So how do I create a body object in Rust? Because I assume there's a way to set a string to a body, right? There's got to be a way. And then we can just quite easily convert the body of our app error into the app error values into a body function. A body struct from string into data stream. So the body is the one we want. Size hint is stream, default, FMT, formats, the value. How do I create this? Create axiom body from object. Let's see about this body. So is stream, no. So I have data, which is a buffer here, right? And type error. Required associated types. This and that. Okay, is it just a matter of setting the data or the data buffer to whatever I want? I am wondering now. I think we can do that, right? In other words, I have the JSON, or in fact, if I create a vector from a set, is it going to be sorted? This is something I could probably ask ChatGPT now, but I believe it will, dude. Because, you know, when you do begin, and it basically goes for the begin and end iterators. And I think those are sorted anyway in set. So, in fact, yeah, they will be sorted because that's a very kind of easy way to sort your vector. You transform it to a vector and then transform it back to you transform your vector to a set and then transform it back to a vector. So I do remember doing that, even though it's inefficient, but yeah. What's your view on Copilot? A waste of time, right? Yeah, dude, I've used it once and then I didn't like it. There was a lot of code that was just being like copied and pasted from like God knows whose repository and what license he had. And when I used it, which was like straight when it came out, it was quite bad still. Like the answers that it would give me were terrible. I assume it's better now, right? They've got more data to train with, for sure. But I still wouldn't use it just because I like learning what I'm doing, if it makes sense. Like I like actually learning documentation and making sure that I can do the stuff again without the use of AI. Which is one of the reasons why you shouldn't use it too much. Like if you're using AI to do everything for you, then you're not really learning anything. You're just like kind of copying and pasting code, right? I use it for making repetitive data. Like, yeah. So that is a good use case for it. Another use case that I kind of agree with is just doing like, I guess, what do you call it? Just boilerplate code, right? Boilerplate code. That's what I was looking for. So when you do like boilerplate code for like a particular API or something that you don't really need to learn how it works, then AI is fine. Like just doing a chat GPT to create that code for you is fine. But yeah. I don't use it for everything though. I very rarely use it, to be honest. Like it would be quite good for this use case here, but creating axiom body from string. So we have a new body. Creates a body that wraps around another HTTP body. Empty from stream into data stream. So what does body do? Consumes this builder using the provided body to return the constructed response. But I can't pass self into it. Because then that would be an app error. I don't want an app error. Result of response. What I want is a body. Now, interestingly, this is the use case that would be quite good to ChatGPT over, because it's just about finding it where in the documentation this is. So we're going to use ChatGPT to do exactly that. So how to construct a axiom body from data from a random struct in Rust. Let's see if it's good for that. Because this is in the documentation somewhere, I just can't find it. Which is axiom bodies wrap around. Okay. Right. So where is the body conversion stuff? Responsive body here. The JSON data assert JSON. Yeah, we're probably going to do that. So JSON data body from. Just body from. That's what we're looking for. For some reason, we couldn't find that in here. From. Yeah, it's not even mentioned here. So yeah. It is here, yeah. So JSON data. Ugh. Oh, we don't have Sir JSON. We need to add that. So let's begin. Create.io, and I'm gonna get the JSON. Is it still available? Yeah, it is. Go add Sir JSON. Now I need to go into my Urchin admin. I go add. Oh, in fact, I already had that in there. Oh, did I put it in the wrong thing? I did. I think really it should have been in my common, right? Yeah, it should have been in common. There you go. We can cargo add that anyway. Cargo add. Right, so now do we have Sir Jason here? Yeah, we do. And serialize? What is it? From slice from data, what do we do? What was the call here? What did ChatGPT give us? From a toString, I guess. Data. And we just gotta derive serialize. toString and unwrap. Okay. Which we already do. No, we don't. We need to derive here. Derive serialize, and then we do was it toString again? I can't remember now. It's just toString, yeah. Good. toString, and then we have self, in this case, into response self. And what's that going to return us? This is JSON result, I guess. I mean, there's no way this should ever fail. Should it ever fail? I don't know. I can't do that either, though. I'm just going to have to unsafely unwrap, in this case. And then we have that. Now this should be fine. Now let's see. Okay, that was difficult, but we got there in the end. Now, can we still... Oh, there's an error somewhere, though. There's an app error somewhere. Serialize. Yes, we haven't derived it from... Wait, why? Conflicting implementations of trait serialize for type app error. Conflicting implementation for app error. The trait-bound status code serialize is not satisfied for local types. Consider adding derived serialize to your status code type. So this is not a serializable code, is it? Ooh. Yeah. I mean, long story short, you're gonna have to like add a manual serialization function here, I'd say. So when you have something that is not serializable or doesn't implement serialize by default, especially something from like a standard library or a crate, you can't implement the traits for a crate, right? So you would have to manually derive or manually create a serializable function, serialized function. But I'm pretty sure that there is an easier way to do that with surd. So surd status code serialize. So I've actually seen this particular error before, and that's because you kind of come across this quite a lot, especially if you're working. I've implemented this HTTP surdy. So yeah, we're just gonna have to do a surd add serialize field that doesn't implement serialize. That's what we're gonna have to do. You will either need to implement serialize or use serialize derived macro. That is true. So we're gonna just add manually the serialization function, which is a little bit annoying, but it is what it is. So we have serializer S, where S is serializer 32. So if we have something like a color with serialized field R into R, okay, yeah. So this is kind of what we're going to use here. We're going to manually implement that surd serialization. Mateus Midi. Hola, Mateus. I'm in the UK, dude. I live in the UK. So I am in Manchester right now. Serialize for app error. And we're going to serialize field, what is it called? Error or air MSG. And then it's going to be self.MSG. Self serializer, that's fine. Serialize struct. Wait, what is LE? What is LE? Length. Length of view size. Is that how many? That's how many things we've got, I guess. Right? There's no way it's 3 bytes long. Oh, it is 3 bytes, I guess. 1, 2, 3. Oh, yeah. So it is 3 bytes. So I guess we should be putting this as something like... See, I don't know. I don't know how many bytes we have here, which is interesting. Serialized struct. So what goes in len? The name is circle len is the number of data fields that will be serialized. That is better. I thought it was in byte, and I was about to get really worried here because how long is a piece of string, right? We've all come across that. So this is going to be app error. We've got the error message, and then we also have the status. Or the status. Just status here. In fact, let's match it, status code, just to make sure. Now, can I transform this into a non-zero U60A? Non-zero integer, which is unsigned integer, right? So how do we turn this? So serialized field. Or what should this be? The trait bounds status code serialized is not satisfiable. Not satisfiable. Yeah, but we've got the status code. What I want to do is like transform this as U68. There you go. That should work now, right? State serialize, okay. I'm sorry to be a bother, but can you please read my comments above? I don't want to distract you as much. Yeah, dude, sorry. I will take a look at that. I think this one here, right? Oh, then I can set std_find so that it interprets the array as a sorted one that I can use binary search on it because it's O log n. Find iterators. Yeah, that sounds about right. So if you have a sorted vector and you haven't added anything to it after, right after you've sorted it and turned it into a vector, then you should be able to binary search it. Yeah, you are correct. Definitely something to do tomorrow. That could speed up the export to, yeah, I guess. It sounds about right, dude. I mean, it doesn't sound too incorrect to me. Yeah, use the fact that you know it's a sorted array to actually be able to find elements on it. So yeah. Right, and we have that. Serialize for app error. Ooh, wait, did I already have that? What? I already had that. I didn't realize. This is hilarious, I guess. What does it build now though? So cargo. So I had already done that serialization before. I didn't realize. Thanks. No worries, dude. Yeah, sorry about not keeping up to date with the comments. Sometimes they go too fast and I miss one or two. I do apologize. But always ping me on Discord if I miss anything. I'm usually free. I'm usually always in there. Every day I check Discord. Good. Now the thing is, do we have a nice looking error? That is the question. So let's debug this. Or in fact, debug urchin admin, of course. And then we are gonna send that request again. So things should just work again, right? So debug terminal. Okay, so things are running. Now, can I send something that will give me back some body? First one. No, it didn't give me anything. Oh yeah, there you go. Body is here. Now if I do 10, that doesn't exist. There you go, and that's better. That's a JSON, and the status code is actually correct. So all of that to fix the return status code. That's fine though. But the point is, we've added an entire, we've fixed the entire endpoint that was getting the post, right? As well as doing some very nice error handling here in the meantime. And our function actually looks really, really simple. Like it doesn't really get any simpler than this. So like you do a database, you create a database connection here, or you acquire a database connection, and then you do the database get post call. And that in itself is a very easy call to the ORM, which creates that model, the entity model. And there's a bunch of error, I guess, error mapping in here, because we just have to do that. And yeah. Now the problem is this will return me. It maps an error to this. So what does map error do? Yeah, it returns an error as well, right? Ah, yeah, so this will return the app error. In this case, if there's something internal with the database itself. If not, we do a context. We could not find in the database, could not find ID. Post ID in the database, I guess. And then we do a final map error here. So yeah, I mean, it's just as easy as that, really. So let's take a look at what we can do next, because we still have some time in the stream. I'm still going to be here for like another few minutes. Right, so if we look at the urchin itself, we have begun to basically, oh, this is the whole architecture, right? So in here, can I take a look at this? A look at raw? I just want to look at raw. No, can I not see the raw image? I guess not. It will put this ugly thing on it. But if we took a screenshot of this, for now, this is what we started with. And what we essentially have done here is like we've started the post for the post, of course, or that is done in fact on the admin app, and we don't have a get yet. So like I guess we started the get, but the get is on the wrong place because actually this is here right now. So the get is here, and it should really, like the get endpoint should be on the normal application, because that's where we're actually gonna kind of get the or the users will get the post, right? So whenever someone accesses the website, they will be able to get the post without having to have the admin app up. So, but long story short, we've done this, we've done this. Now a good one to kind of go for next would be any of these, just because they are still the post ones, and this is, I guess we can go for the delete post, right? That should be a very, very easy one. So yeah, let's do that. Why shouldn't we do it? So we are going to create another function in our lib. So a pub async function delete post, and then we pass in the self to it, post ID, which is an i32 again, and then we're going to return an anyhow result of delete post response, I guess. Delete post response, an app error as our error type. And somehow we are going to just return okay for now. Right, we don't have this type, of course. We don't have that type, but we are going to create this just here, right? So this is the add post response, and obviously we're going to have the exact same thing for delete post response, right? Now we should have that in here for sure, or maybe not. Maybe not, because we don't actually import that type inside the lib, inside the common lib, that is. So get post response and delete post response. That's what we want to do here. Now we should find it. There you go. So IntelliSense found it. That means we have it here. Now this should be just as easy as, I guess, doing another like model query on the ORM, right? So we are going to look into it because I don't know how to do it, if I'm honest. We took a look at how to find exactly one item with the ORM. Now we're doing a different application. We're doing a delete application, so a delete operation. But again, we should probably create a model. So find by ID on the model. So fruit is, what is fruit in this case? And then we do a delete result, orange.delete from the database. So this is essentially it. I actually have a smaller project that I want to do implementing BFF's breadth first search and depth first search with multi-threading. I think it could prove useful to have done that in the future. Yeah, so working with threading is always going to help you, dude. So getting experience on it is always going to help, especially when like you're going to go into the industry soon, right? You're going to finish your university and you're going to look for a C++ job. Most C++ jobs that you can find nowadays will probably have a line on the job description saying, you know, we expect you to have worked with multi-threading before and distributed systems or something like that, or distributed programs. And it's always useful to have that that knowledge anyway. You know, and once you understand the threading model quite well, you know, understanding things like async, how other languages like do this in a modern way, it will be easier for sure. Because then you're gonna get into like, you know, Go green threads are pretty much just you know, a glorified thread pool kind of thing with a channel in it. So you start to see these things from the basics, and yeah, just get experience with threads, mate. That's all I can tell you. You won't regret it for sure. Now, don't overuse them though. That's a mistake that most people always commit. They overuse threads whenever they learn about it. But yeah. Anyway, so we do the post again. So we the posts. What do we have? Fruit model option. Fruit model traits. Yeah, in this case, they forgot to say what fruit is. It's just a use in there. It's just an alias for it. But that's fine. We can do entity find by ID. Exactly. It's the same exact thing, isn't it? Find by ID 30, yeah. The same exact like line as we have here. In fact, we're going to need all of this as well. It's the same like internal error handling again. But the only difference is that we're going to do a post dot I guess it's going to be a post dot delete. There you go. And we pass in the DB to it, which is simply a self.db connection. And what does that return? What type is this? The pin box. Okay, so we need to await because this is a... Okay, and then we have a result. So yeah, this is going to have to be a little bit more involved here, but that's fine. Right, so we have the delete result. I don't know what that is. We're going to put it here. So our goal is to get the delete result. In this case here. I really like parallelism. I'm mostly using just std transform right now. That seems to be enough for me. But you can't really std transform with BFSs. Yeah, I mean, transform is good when you have, again, sequential data or data that is stored in a C++ container, right? Because it works very well with C++ containers. It's part of the std. And the std like maintainers will make sure that it works for whatever containers they have in there. But as soon as you move away from that, as soon as you have like custom types and stuff like trees, then yeah, it's not going to work for those. Unless you have a begin and end iterator. If you implement those things, I'm pretty sure transform should work though, for whatever type you have. Anyway, so we have await, and then we have I guess map error. Map error was my error type in this case, db error. And then we're going to have the same thing. So app error, error message, e.toString, status code, status code. Now this happens if there's an internal error somewhere, I guess, right? That we couldn't delete. I'm just going to put it as an internal server error. I don't necessarily know whether that is the case though. Yeah, okay. Now, what does delete result have? Delete result. Rows affected. Number of rows affected. Which should just be 1, hopefully, right? Find by ID. Then we get 1, yeah. I guess this doesn't really matter. We're not really going to use this, right? Once we deleted it, we don't really care anymore. What we do want to know is a delete response, which is just going to be a delete response with a post ID equals to the post ID that we had there. In fact, and that's it. That is the whole endpoint. That is the whole endpoint, believe it or not. Obviously, we're going to have another one here. So we're going to have a root for the delete. We're going to probably have to import this from Axiom. And that is going to be the delete post handler, which you're going to have to kind of copy this really and kind of paste it there and change this to delete post handler. And once we have that, what do we have here? So we have the extension, we have the database, we do need that, we need the post ID for sure. We're going to return an app error, that's correct, but we are actually going to return a delete post handler, post response in fact. And that's it. That's the whole endpoint. With that in mind, right? Ooh, what's going on? Delete post handler. Delete post handler. Oh yeah, there's a typo there. Now that should be fine. Yeah, there you go. It was fine. And let's test it, shall we? So we have a... Let's go in the debug and up and run the admin application. So now what we're also doing is we're tackling this endpoint here, which was actually very easy. It's the easiest one to actually tackle because you just need to delete it from the database. We do have add post as well though. Post page. Oh yeah, this is something else. And put is basically for updating the post. That's what we're going to tackle next because that's a little bit more involved. And I'll probably do it offline anyway. I'm not going to like bore you guys with the details of this. but remove post, right? So we have a delete here, and we have posts, and we have 300 posts. Let's put something that doesn't exist, such as 10. So could not find post in database. That's correct. Could not find post in database. That is correct. But if I do 1, then it works, you see. Then we have actually successfully deleted the post. How do I know that? Because then if we request that post again, we shouldn't find it in the database, right? But if we add it, we should be able to do it. So if we do posts there, and I think we have a body already. Yeah, let's send it and see what we get back. Oh shit, we have a lot of breakpoints there, my guys. So add post returns me post ID 4, right? Which is good. So we have a post ID with a bunch of content. Can I get that post 4 now? What we're going to find out. We do. We get post ID 4. Interestingly, we don't have post ID 3 though. Oh, we do. We have quite a few actually. Post ID 2 as well. Nice, yeah. But yeah, I mean that was essentially it, guys. I'm kind of happy to have done this in the stream. It was a little bit more productive than I thought it would be. Usually with these kinds of streams, we don't achieve that much, if I'm honest, just because I'm talking to you guys and answering questions, and that's fine. I absolutely kind of love doing that. But today's has actually been a very, very productive stream. Like, we managed to fix all of the errors, all of the error reporting that we had. Do I have to add anything? No. So support for get and delete. Yeah, so I'm very happy. Anyway, I'm going to actually leave the stream here, guys. It has been a pleasure joining you guys again. And thank you very much for everyone that joined. Don't forget to like the video before you leave as well. That helps me out quite a lot in the next day, especially. With that said, have a good evening, and I'll see you guys maybe at the end of the week. I hope I get some time to do some more streams. And I'm also going to work on some videos. If you guys have any suggestions, if you guys want to learn anything, thank you, Getsu, for joining the stream, dude. You're always here. So, good luck with your project, by the way. Good. I wish you the best of luck, and don't forget to just finish it, man. Don't focus too much on making it perfect. That's the suggestion I'm going to give you. That said, bye-bye, and I'll see you guys next time, and peace.